I was just young and dumb, and I didn't spot really quickly that this person was just a total scam and was.
Listen, this is the flip side of the happy to be here coin. The
Mm,
flip side of happy to be here is happy to help. And sometimes we help people who are strictly, explicitly there to take advantage of us. 100%. Keep going.
that's a really good takeaway. The flip side of happy to be here is the happy to help, and when you're too happy to help, sometimes you get taken advantage of, and
Yep.
it's a bummer. Just like live your life thinking that the world is going to take advantage of you. You got to assume the best in people. And sometimes it doesn't work out, but most of the time it probably will. But this time it didn't work out at a pretty bad time for me. So, I was fresh out of college, not making much money. The student loans were $1,000 a month, rent in California. I don't remember what it was, but it was more than I had. I didn't have a car. I had a scooter that was dope. But I ran out of money, had to sell the scooter.
Oh,
And at the worst time, I show up to my internship, and the person I'm working for is like, "Oh, my car's in the shop. We got to go rent a car today." So we go down to the rental place, and my employer gives their credit card and ID to the enterprise, and the enterprise says, "Oh, these don't match, so we can't rent you a car. Your credit card, your ID don't match. We can't rent you a car." And I was employee number one. I wanted to be employee of the month.
uh,
And I was like, you know what? I have a credit card and an ID that match. Use these.
oh my
And
God.
so they did. And sometime during the week that we had a Mercedes rental car that I wasn't in possession of, I called dad. And I
Yeah.
was like, "Dad, I think something is wrong. I'm just like, I was blind 5 days ago and now I see." And it's one of the only times I can remember dad, I don't want to say like disciplining me, but he was really disappointed and didn't really hide it. I
Oh,
remember, I think it was definitely the first time that I remember and the last that I remember. He was
oof.
like, "Son, what are you thinking?" And that one stung. And it just like, it's kind of like a slap
Yeah.
over the phone. And I regained consciousness. And the next day, I did what I could to go get the car back, but it had been towed. And fast forward a little while, and I think $1,000 or $2,000 later, we got the car returned. But I was the furthest away from having $2,000 to blow on someone else's rental car. And so I learned a lot there. I'm sure some other things happened for a little while, and then I settled in a job at a production company for a while as the assistant to the international sales division. And just, I don't know, I was young enough that I didn't know what $30,000 a year meant in terms of biweekly pay, and it wasn't enough to pay my student loans and rent. So everything else at that time kind of just went on a credit card, and I would pay it off after I did a hair modeling job. But
Mhm.
I had an experience that made me feel like this industry takes a lot from the people uh, who are willing to give it, and
Mhm.
it wasn't worth it for me.
Mhm.
I didn't feel like I was helping create something that was worth the pain that I was going through, and
Mhm.
I think that one probably lasted about a year. I got to do some cool travel.
Like Cannes Film Festival.
Yeah, Cannes Film Festival, that was really fun. Um, Berlin Film Festival, freezing cold, but as I look back on it, good experiences in learning what you don't want to.